Said to me, my mother won't mind, and my father won't slight you for your lack of kind. And she laid her hand on me, and this she did say, it will not be long, love, till our wedding day. She stepped away from me and she went through the fair, and fondly I watched her move here and move there. And then she went homeward with one star awake, as the swan in the evening moves over the lake. Last night she came to me, my true love came in, and so softly she came that her feet made no din. And she laid her hand on me, and this she did say, it will not be long, love, till our wedding day.
As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, sisters, let's go down, come on down. Oh, sisters, let's go down, down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the robe and crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, brothers, let's go down, come on down. Come on, brothers, let's go down, down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, fathers, let's go down, come on down. Oh, fathers, let's go down, down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the robe and crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, mothers, let's go down, come on down, don't you wanna go down? Come on, mothers, let's go down, down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, sinners, let's go down,
gentlemen, please welcome Mr. and Mrs. O'Connell.
James, what do you think of the food? Would you say it's the first real food you've had for weeks?
Blue, electric blue. That's the color of my room where I will live. Blue, blue. Pale blinds drawn all day. Nothing to read, nothing to say. Blue, blue. I will sit right down, waiting for the gift of sound and vision. And I will sing, waiting for the gift of sound and vision. Drifting into my solitude, over my head. Don't you wonder sometimes about sound and vision?
I'd like to give you a Kate Miller voucher, which is 100,000 welcomes.
Yeah.
I just have a bit of a query here. There's somebody walking around this room impressioning me. If he talks to you and you give him money, you'll start singing Frank Sinatra. Stop. Keep it to yourself. I'd like to hand you over now to James O'Connell.
Hello everyone. I'm cacking my pants. Is that alright? Yeah, that's alright. I'm going to stick to the script. Okay, what's the first joke? It's been an emotional night. Even the cake's in tears. That is the last joke again. That really is the last joke again. Alright, it's all thank yous from here on in. That's... Okay, firstly, Sinead and me would like to thank every single person in this room here for being with us on this very special day. It really is the best gift you could have given to us on our wedding day, for every single person being here with us, and it's fantastic. It really is. Thank you very much. we'd like to thank Father Needham for being here with us today. And we have a little token of our appreciation, Father. And here he is, just behind you here. Father, it's a bottle of whiskey, and I hope you do that when you're off duty. You can enjoy that. We would like to thank our mom and dads. Just really being so generous and wonderful, generally, just for getting this day sorted. And everyone's having this party off the back of you guys. We're very happy with that. Are you still there, are you? We would like to give our mum and dad a real big thank you as well for just showing us what a good marriage can be, and we're very happy with that. I'd like to thank my brothers for doing the music today. I'd like to thank everyone here at Boyne Hill House for putting on a fantastic party. The bridesmaids. I didn't know anyone could wear a silk dress so finely. We're all good, And my dad is the best flowers I've ever seen in my life. And lads. Now I had the best stag do I've ever. It was beyond my wildest estimations. It was amazing. I love war. I love shooting. Show us. I love a hog roast. I've never had a hog roast, and then these two boys here, they took us on a wonderful holiday, and they took me away, and they took me away, and I had the best time I could ever hope for. And this is why these guys are so wonderful here. So everyone, put your hands together for Andy. They're also going to, in about 2 minutes' time, they're going to be the most funny they've ever been in. No pressure, lads. No pressure, alright? And that's it. That's it. That's it. I've written a section for this. I can't find it. Now, when Sinead started, when we first got engaged, Sinead said to me, what do you want our theme to be? And I had no idea what she was talking about. I was thinking, would you like it? No, it's alright. I'm doing a better job now. She said, what would you like our theme to be? I had no idea what she meant. I had no idea. I was like, do you want a Super Mario theme? You can have a pirate theme. I had no idea. Absolutely no idea what she was talking about. So everything you can see today, everyone, that's all Sinead. All the creativity, all the loveliness. It's all Sinead. Nothing to do with me. And me and Sinead have been together for a long time now. We've been together since we've been 17. So we've been together when I've been spotty, when I've been a fatty, when I've been jobless, and if she's been really lucky, when it's been all three. It's a true sign of Sinead. She's so loving and she's wonderful and she's so loyal that you couldn't meet anyone else who would be better for her. I'm so lucky to be with someone who's so wonderful and radiant as Sinead. She's fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, bride and groom, friends and family, and everyone's new favourite, Father Neelan. Thank you for coming today. We'd like to echo some of James's thanks to all the parents, Bridget and Tony, Isabel and Bernard, obviously Father Neelan, and everyone here at Bornhill House for making today possible. And also pass on our thanks to Sinead and all the bridesmaids who look beautiful today. Well done.
So for those of us who don't know the two of us, we should introduce ourselves. I'm Andy, this is Austin, and we're really pleased to be stood here today in the role of best man. So, we're discussing that the role of best man gives us certain privileges. It allows us to make a joke at other people's expense. We get a free tie, free socks, and we also get to speak a little bit on behalf of the other people in the room and maybe express what everyone else might be feeling on this big day. So that's exactly why we want to kick off with addressing the elephant in the room, which, let's be honest, is the Irish location. Now, but we clergy, it's very expensive, I don't like flying. Why is it in Ireland? We've been in Birmingham. Is it for tax reasons? Well, I'd just like to say in defence of the fantastic day we've had today, that tradition holds that people put weddings in far too each locations to keep the riffraff away. So actually we should be pretty pleased with ourselves. Although Tony, I'm not sure it's far enough for some.
No, we're both absolutely honoured to be standing here today to fulfil at least one of the best man duties. I say one because James lazily chose two best men to stand next to him. Very decisive. I know why he did it, because it means, double the emotional support, double the envelope licking, double the shoulder to cry on when me and Sinead can't agree on the ice sculptures. But sadly it wasn't to be, because for the 6 months since he asked us, I've been living in Sydney and Andy's been living in Toronto. So a few drunken text messages backwards and forwards. We managed to get a stag do organised, which was, pretty good. Yeah. Oh yeah. I got my Raoul Moat on for the first time. But to be fair, we've got everything pretty well covered. I think these guys have done, and Sinead mainly, has done very well. I've actually got a joke in here about the Irish weather, but even that was good. Everything's gone pretty well.
Right, so it's customary for us to spread a little bit of, put a little bit of colour around the groom, for those of you who don't know him. Which pretty much brings us to the main part of this speech, Mr. James Charles O'Connor. I'd just like to say, for those of you who do know James O'Connell, I hope that you can sympathise with Austin and I as we came to put pen to paper. We literally didn't know where to start. Did we talk about James the musician? James the American Indian enthusiast? James the 8-year-old who drew pictures at school so violent that Bernard and Isabel were invited in to speak to his teacher? Do we talk about James the dog hater, who loathes them? Or the cow hater, for that matter? Or do we talk about James the sleep talker? Or let's be honest, maybe the sleep weir? If you are lucky enough to be a wardrobe, a bed, a carpet, a waste paper basket, a laundry bin, or a shows or anywhere else. Or one of my guitars. Which has never sounded the same since. No, we couldn't possibly cover everything, obviously, so we've chosen one thing that's been the most consistent through James's life, and probably the most pertinent for when they're married, which is, of course, the O'Connell factor. Now, with several O'Connells in the room, we have to explain the O'Connell factor a little bit. Now, the O'Connell factor is a phrase that we use for when something completely unpredictable and unprecedented happens around James, which not only throws his plans out the window, but throws everyone else's plans out the window. Some people would explain it as bad luck, and it is bad luck. And some people would explain it as, so, you know, it happens to everyone every now and then, but it always happens to James. We'll give you a few examples. Just last year, Sinead, James and Austin came to visit me in Toronto. They thought they'd pop across to New York whilst they're there, just a short flight, 2 hours. So they headed across, no baggage needed, it was just a short flight, hand luggage all the way. And they were all very relaxed. Unfortunately, Sinead and Austin hadn't accounted for the fact that James was going to unload his entire camping story to the US immigration officer. Had a lovely time, hadn't you, James? And subsequently was ejected from the security line, taken to another part of Toronto Airport, and subjected to over an hour of agricultural-related questioning, with accusations of smuggling plant and animal across the US border. Subsequently, he missed his flight to JFK, standard, and Sinead and Austin had to wait for 2 hours before their holiday could commence. The O'Connell factor strikes.
Now we should pause here and say it's not just James disorganised or a bad traveller. It could be at its strongest O'Connell factor when he's not even, when he doesn't even lift a finger. A few years ago, Sinead and James went on holiday with Matt Clare to somewhere in the Mediterranean, doesn't matter where. They came back late one night into Birmingham Airport, waited the baggage carousel, 45 minutes went past, everyone else went got their bag apart from Mr. James Charles O'Connell. And he got the dreaded announcement over the tannoy saying, "Can James O'Connell please come to the baggage room?" He went to the baggage room, his bag wasn't lost. What actually happened was it was dragged off the top of one of the baggage trolleys on the tarmac, dragged under one of the tyres, crushed everything in the bag, and a can of deodorant which exploded, sending everything into a massive fireball, and all that was left, handed back to him that night, was a smouldering bag of toiletries. The O'Connell factor.
And I think the scariest thing about the O'Connell factor, when we really look at it, is there's nothing you can do to defend yourself. Just after university, Austin, Jim and I went to walk the South Downs, which is a row of hills along the south of England. It's a lovely walk, isn't it? It's a trip about 120 miles just overall, so we're going to take a week to do it. And obviously, so ensued a ton of planning. Logistics, menu planning, equipment. It was our Everest. Because we already knew about the O'Connell factor, even back then, we'd shared the responsibilities out very carefully. In fact, it only came down to James to buy the tent. That was it. What could possibly go wrong? Always want to spot a bargain. James purchased a 2/3-man tent for all three of us over 6 foot lads, and our 3 massive backpacks. As is often the way with the O'Connell factor, we didn't find out until we'd arrived. We unwrapped the tent and found out the interior floor space was no bigger than a modest dining table. It was tiny. In fact, none of us could lie on it shoulder to shoulder, and we all had to go on our sides in a spoon shape for the entire week. I think we showered twice.
So as Andy says, no amount of planning can protect you from the O'Connell factor. In fact, the O'Connell factor can strike its hardest when James isn't even in the area or in the country. So the first time me and Andy went to Green Man Festival in Wales, James couldn't make it, neither could Sinead. We would generally go, they couldn't come. But being the lovely guy that he is, he offered to lend me his tent. So I took it gladly, didn't think about the O'Connell factor, fool me. Opened the bag when we got to Wales. It was raining and it was dark. And I opened the bag and realised that not only was it the wrong tent, there was no poles and the wrong pegs. Sorry, there was no pegs and the wrong poles. So we tried to erect this mangled tent together, and I had to sleep in it the whole weekend when it rained 90% of the time, being from Wales, obviously. So I essentially slept in a bin bag that was just flapping in the wind. The O'Connell fact, ladies and gentlemen.
We could go on, and I'm sure that a few of us here have got our own experiences of it here today. You probably didn't know what it was called, but now you do. But I think the point we want to make, bringing this to an end, is that even with the alarming consistency that these things seem to happen in James's life and affect every single person in his near vicinity, you don't see anyone dodging a moment to spend time with James. And that's because you know that for every missed flight, smouldering rucksack, urine-filled guitar, you're going to be made to feel the most welcome person there in the room. You're going to experience amazing generosity, and you're probably going to laugh so hard a little bit of wee comes out.
So Andy and I both had the pleasure of living with both Sinead and James for several years now, and we've got a unique position really to look into a window of what their married lives is probably going to be like, and we can agree that it's going to be pretty great. Sinead's well versed in the O'Connell factor, of course. She's got her defences boarded up, but I should say at this moment that Sinead is no perfect angel herself. Because for every O'Connell factor story, there is, of course, a Giesebert story. But unfortunately, we haven't got time to go into that. No doubt about it. They're two very, very special people with the same childish humour that makes them both laugh, an insatiable appetite for life. We can say, with hand on heart, life's going to be pretty sweet. James and Sinead, we love you both.
Everybody on their feet? Let's please raise our glasses to the beautiful bride and groom.
Happy Christmas!
What a beaut. What a beaut.
Good speech.
Headed down south to the land of the pines. I'm thumbing my way to North Carolina, staring up the road and pray to God I see headlights. I made it down the coast in 17 hours, picking me a bouquet of dogwood flowers, and I'm hoping for Raleigh I can see my baby tonight. So rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, mama, rock me. Rock me, mama, like the wind and the rain. Rock me, mama, like a southbound train. Hey, mama, rock me. Running from the cold up in New England, I was born to be a fiddler in an old-time string band. My baby plays the guitar, I pick a banjo now. Oh, North Country winters keep forgetting me, and I lost my mind in playing poker, so I had to up and leave. But I ain't a turning back to live that old life no more. So rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, mama, rock me. Rock me, mama, like the wind and the rain. Rock me, mama, like a southbound train. Hey, mama, rock me. Walking due south out of Roanoke, I caught a trucker out of Philly, had a nice long tote. He's heading west from the Cumberland Gap to Johnson City, Tennessee. Now gotta get a move on before the sun. Now if my baby calling my name, and I know that she's the only one, and if I die in Raleigh, at least I will die free. So rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, mama, rock me. Rock me, mama, like the wind and the rain. Rock me, mama, like a southbound train. Hey, mama, rock me.
The first time I saw you, I loved you with all of my heart. The first time I held you, I knew someday we would part. Next Saturday morning in church, I'll give you away. In my eyes, happy tears I can't hide on your wedding day. It's hard to imagine a baby so tiny and small is now a young lady of beauty so pretty and tall. I know you look lovely in your wedding dress and bouquet. When you walk down the aisle with your husband on your wedding day. Your mother, she nursed you through many a heartache and pain. And if you were to ask her, she'd do it all over again. She's watched you grow into the woman that you are today. She's so happy and proud of her daughter on her wedding day. It's hard to imagine a baby so tiny and small is now a young lady of beauty so pretty and tall. I know you look lovely in your wedding dress and bouquet. When you walk down the aisle with your husband on your wedding day. The man you will marry, I'll be proud to call him my son. He's your partner in life you've chosen above everyone. I know he loves you and cares for you every day, like your mother and I cared for you in the very same way. It's hard to imagine a baby so tiny and small is now a young lady of beauty so pretty and tall. I know you look lovely in your wedding dress and bouquet. When you walk down the aisle with your husband on your wedding day. When you walk down the aisle with your husband on your wedding day. Thank you very much. Thank you. That's your wedding day. Thank you.
I've been a wild rover for many's the year, and I've spent all me money on whiskey and beer. But now I'm returning with gold in great store, and I never will play the wild rover no more, and it's no, nay, never. No, nay, never, no more will I play the wild rover. No, never, no more. I went into an alehouse I used to frequent, and I told the landlady me money was spent. I asked her for credit, she answered me nay. Such a custom as yours I can have every day, and it's no, nay, never. No, nay, never, no more will I play the wild rover. No, never, no more. I then took from me pocket 10 sovereigns bright, and the landlady's eyes opened wide with delight. She says, I have whiskies and the wines of the best, and the words that you told me were only in jest, and it's no, nay, never. No, nay, never, no more will I play the wild rover. No, never, no more. I'll go home to my parents, confess what I've done, and I'll ask them to pardon their prodigal son. And when they've caressed me as oft times before, I never will play the wild rover no more, and it's no, nay, never. No, nay, never, no more will I play.
It's no, nay, never. Lift up your dice down. It's now the wild rover.
Alright, Sineads first. Sineads first. Are you ready, guys? On four, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4.
And it's no